I am not ass. So I thought this would be the perfect video to round out the series. I've gone through about 4 or 5 different topics, from my thumbnails are ass, my titles are ass, my videos are ass, and then my channel is ass. And I thought this would just be the perfect way to round out the series by telling you that I don't think I'm actually ass. So if you've watched any of those last videos, you'll know that they're not all like self-deprecating and stuff like that. It's mostly like critiquing the things I've done with my channel, my videos, all these things, and giving you some insight into how I think about the whole process of each of these topics and what I think my shortcomings are and what I've done good and blah blah blah. And then, for example, like my videos are ass. If you watch that video, I don't actually think my videos are ass, and I say it in the video. But I thought for those of you that didn't watch some of the videos of the series, it might look really bad from the outside, like I'm super looking down on myself or something like that, but I'm really not. And so, yeah, I want to tell you about how I think of myself. Because the thing is, I actually think very highly of myself. I like myself a lot, unironically. So I want to tell you a story or some stories about how when I was like 19 to 21, around those ages, like I actually thought pretty badly of myself. I didn't really like myself all that much, and so I was really sad often, and I went through this phase where I was like really depressed and sad and anxious, and yeah, it was just really tough. I think it's just a canon event, honestly, for every guy. Everyone has to go through it at one point. And of course, it's mainly to do with heartbreak from a girl, or more than one. But that's just how life is. And one of the things that I picked up over the years is that how highly you think of yourself and how much you like yourself are the things that dictate how well you're able to spend time alone, without feeling like you need somebody else there with you, and without feeling all these negative emotions about yourself. I remember watching some video from Dr. K where he explained this, and I kind of don't I don't really watch Dr. K's videos. I watch them like a few times per year total. But of course I went through like my streaks of like watching a lot of his channel and things like that. But yeah, I just remember watching one of these videos where he explained this concept, and that really clicked with me. And like around the time that I saw his video, I was also going through like this phase of like thinking about my past self, like kind of going through memory lane, and how, you know, my personality has been different throughout the years, and how my personas have changed and all these things from when I was like, you know, 7 years old all the way up to my current age. And I remember being very interested in entering the mind of my younger self to see how he was able to do some things, because I kind of looked up to like my younger self, like when I was like 10, because I was like a lot more fearless, it felt like, than I was at the time that I started reflecting on it. And yeah, I just felt like I really cared less, gave less fucks about things, and so I kind of wanted to bring that back, so I started kind of bringing that back basically. But yeah, I was pondering about all these qualities that I had when I was younger and all the experiences that I went through. Basically, just like my life story. Like I said, it was partly because I was really curious why I was able to do things when I was so young, and why I was so fearless and had all these like great qualities. And the other part was that I was wondering about like the decisions I made, and why I made those decisions that led me to where I was. And I think this part is really important, because a lot of people will look at their decisions that they've made and they'll say, oh, the outcome of this was really bad, therefore I made a bad decision. But to me, this is not how you judge whether a decision is good or bad, because you're kind of cheating if you really think about it. You're able to see into the future, see the outcome of something, and then be like, okay, based on the outcome, was it good or bad? But the you of the past didn't have this luxury of looking into the future. You had a lot less information back then when you made the decision that you made. So it's really unfair to the past you to just be like, oh yeah, by the way, you were really retarded for making this decision. Because you have to take into account, okay, what did my past self know at the time? So you have to think, like, based on the knowledge that my past self had at the time, did they make the best possible decision? Based off of just that knowledge that they had. And of course, here and there we'll make dumb decisions, but you'll find that an overwhelming amount of time, you actually made the best decision with what you knew. And it makes me really sad to see when people shit on themselves from the past without accounting on the limited amount of knowledge that they had at the time. One, because they're cheating, like I said, but two, because they also really underestimate themselves from the past. You know, if I have to look at myself from the past in a hypothetical, imaginary situation, like, am I really able to empathize with my past self? Am I really able to understand why they made the choices that they made? Do you really think so lowly of yourself that you like underestimate, you know, you underestimate your decision making at the time? You underestimate how brilliant you were back then. And like I said, a lot of times the only fault that you had back then is that you just couldn't see into the future. And so in a way, I felt like I was really able to connect with my past self and understand their perspective more. And the other huge thing that I think is kind of problematic is a lot of people just say like love yourself and like yourself and all these things, mainly just quote unquote love yourself. But to me, this is just empty words. You know, it doesn't actually have any meaning or application, because you can just say love yourself and you can kind of like fake it till you make it type thing. But for me, that doesn't work at all, because I can't just like, you know, say these empty words of thinking this empty way like, okay, love myself, but why am I loving myself? There has to be good reasons. I can't just like fake liking myself or fake loving myself if I don't actually do. So yeah, back then when I made that like introspection, it must have been like around 2021. I tried to really look for reasons to like myself, like actual reasons. Like, why does my brain work the way it does? Why did I make the decisions I made? Why did I go through the experiences I went through? Why did I choose the things I chose? Why do I think the way I do? Why do I have the values that I do? And I spent a lot of time, I don't know if it was like weeks or a few months or something, really kind of thinking about these things. And like I said, I was able to really like connect and empathize with myself, not underestimating my past self, not shitting on them unfairly because they couldn't see into the future, and really understanding why their brain works the way it does, or why my brain works the way it does, and why I did differently at different points in time. And after I did that, like, I really started liking myself. I really started liking the way my brain works, the the decisions I made. Of course, you're gonna have like, regrets or like, oh, I wish I would have done this and that. But just that ability of looking at my past self and being like, you know what, with what you knew, past Omero, you actually made the best choice. That was the right choice. And really putting myself in those shoes, I was able to really like myself and the reason for how my brain works, the reason I am the way I am. And honestly, I hope if you're listening to this, however many people are listening to this, that maybe it's able to help some of you. If, by me saying this, it maybe like plants an idea in your head and maybe you like explore those ideas. Because like, even though, I still have like my ups and downs and all those things, but like I am much, much happier than I was before. And I no longer have like these semi-emo phases. So, and yeah, I'm just like really able to actually like myself now and really like how my brain works. But yeah, I don't know if that was too deep for the channel's usual videos, but yeah, I mean, honestly, that's just classic Omero 2582 making like a million different type of videos. So yeah, I am not ass. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Help us get to 400 subscribers. And yeah, this has been Emerald 2582, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.